Hey everyone, it's great to see you all again. Have you ever wondered how to bring out that mood, that emotion, that vibe that you had when you took an image? Maybe you've tried cranking up the saturation or slapping on a preset, but there's a process to getting that pro level look, a way to make your colors work better together rather than fight each other. So in today's video, I'm going to break down my exact process for color grading landscape images. From choosing the right tones to fine-tuning colors for maximum impact. I'll show you how to enhance the natural beauty of your shot without making it look overdone or artificial. If you want to take your images from this to this, make sure you stick around. I hope you all enjoy. The first step starts outside of Lightroom or Photoshop, and that is defining the mood or palette you want your image to have. Before I even touch a single slider, I ask myself, what do I want this image to make me feel like? Do I want it warm and inviting? I'll enhance oranges, deep greens, or the golden highlights. Maybe I want it moody and cold. I'll desaturate greens, darken the blues, and add softness to the shadows. Or do I want it dark and cinematic? I'll pull colors apart, add contrast, and selectively mute certain tones. If you don't decide on a mood before editing, you'll waste a bunch of time second guessing yourself. A lot of the time, the best edits aren't random. They start with a clear creative direction. After you've gotten your foundational exposure and contrast edits done, let's jump into targeted color adjustments with the HSL sliders. HSL stands for hue, saturation, and luminance. Hue changes the actual color of the one that you're selecting. For example, you can shift the green slider over towards yellow or towards teal for a more cinematic look. Or you can make the yellows more gold or rich for a golden hour feel. Saturation controls the intensity of the color. Pulling back or desaturating the greens for a forest scene can avoid neon colors. And luminance adjusts the brightness of the color. For example, darkening the blues in a waterfall scene might create more depth. And here's the thing, I never adjust the saturation slider. That's how you end up with colors that look unnatural or overcooked. Instead, I selectively adjust each color to keep the ones that matter and mute the distractions. A great technique that I like to use with the HSL sliders is going to the saturation tab, desaturating all of the colors to 0, bringing them up one by one, and only keeping the colors that you want. And then you can bring them up to a saturation that looks very natural. Now, I may not use the saturation slider, however, I do bump up the vibrance slider just a little bit. The vibrance slider is essentially a more targeted approach to the saturation slider, and it looks a lot better and more natural. After we've messed with the HSL sliders a little bit, let's go into creating depth. This is a game changer. A lot of landscape photos look flat because the colors are just too close together. Maybe the greens, blues, and yellows all blend together into a muddy mess. The fix? Color separation. In forests, I shift the greens more towards a deep emerald while warming up the yellows. This creates more separation instead of just having a green image. In mountain scenes, I darken down the blues, but pull the aquas towards a richer tone. In sunset scenes, I make reds bolder while desaturating magentas for a cleaner look. Like I mentioned in the last section about HSL, desaturating all of the colors and bringing them up one by one is a great way to get this color separation and balance. This adds depth to your image and makes each element stand out without looking over-edited. Now this next step, if you watched my editing tutorial from a couple weeks ago, you would know that my favorite way to adjust color, exposure, and contrast is with localized adjustments. I see a lot of beginner photographers stopping at just the global adjustments, but the masking menu is where I can really bring my image to life. Instead of treating the whole image the same way, I target specific areas using masks. For example, sky adjustments. If the sky is too bright, I try to cool it down with the temperature slider and drop the highlights to create contrast. I also sometimes bring down the exposure to create more of a vignette effect. For foreground separation, I warm up the foreground elements to draw the viewer's eye forward. This also works for brightening up and creating interest towards your subject. For the midground, if mountains or trees feel flat, I adjust the clarity and shift their tone slightly to create more contrast. This controls where the viewer's attention goes and creates more of an intentional edit. Now this next technique is not necessarily a color technique, however it can really enhance the colors in your image, and that is to dodge and burn. Instead of just adding contrast, I manually sculpt the light with dodging and burning. With dodging or brightening, I light up the sunlit areas, reflections, or misty highlights. I also use a little bit of warmth to bring in that sunset glow. For burning or darkening, I deepen the shadows. Usually when dodging and burning, you want the dodged and burn areas to be right next to each other to create that nice stark contrast. Now jumping into the actual color grading section, this is one that I had to really get used to, because when I used to use it, I used it way too heavily and then it just completely ruined my edit. For landscapes or any sort of photography, I find that using the color grading section very softly is actually the best way to use it. Essentially, this allows you to add certain color tones to different luminance ranges in your image. If we go to the global section, you'll see highlights, midtones, and shadows. I like to add for landscapes, especially sunrise or sunset images, a little bit of oranges or yellows into the midtones and the highlights, only bumping up that saturation just a couple of points. You can also blend the colors a little bit more and play around with what works best for your image. I also like to add a little bit of dark blue to the shadows. This creates a nice smooth color contrast in your image. Now for more of a foggy or a forest scene, I may add more deep greens or deep blues into the midtones and highlights. It all depends on that mood that you figured out in the first step before you even started editing. So play around with it to see what best fits your image. Now the last but certainly not least section when it comes to color grading is the calibration section. This is a section that I actually took a deep dive into in another video, so if you wanted to check that out, I'll have it linked up above. But essentially the calibration section tells the image what you want the colors to do. To be honest, it's really something that you have to play around with. Even knowing what exactly it does, just go through the blue, green, and red primary sections, slide the sliders to either side to see how it adjusts your colors. Also keep in mind that the calibration section is going to affect your photo differently depending on what brand of camera you're shooting. I'm shooting on Sony, so I primarily use the green primary section when editing my images. Maybe a little bit of hue to the right and a little bit of saturation on all three sliders. That usually works best for me. However, don't forget to experiment. All of your images are going to be different than mine, and every one of my images is different than my old ones. So experimenting is the most fun and best way to learn any of these settings we've talked about today. So I really hope you all did learn something from this week's video. If you didn't already know, I started a Discord server for the entire community to come together, share photos, and give feedback. And then at the end of every month, I'll be selecting one of your photos as a monthly contest winner. Other than that, if you could subscribe to my newsletter for all sorts of future updates, and then for vlog, blog, and other video updates, if you can like and follow my Facebook page. Other than that, I thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.